Hello, today we ask Reddit what was great advice 20 years ago, but definitely isn't now? Make sure to comment any outdated advice. With that, sit back and enjoy. You need to memorize this cause you won't have the info accessible later. The most important skill isn't knowing the right answer, it's knowing how to find out the right answer. And that's gotten much easier. With how easy it is to find the right answer these days, I propose that it's much more important to be able to identify the wrong answer. 20 years ago, don't meet up with people you met on the internet and don't get in cars with strangers. Today, get into the car with a stranger that you've summoned to your house using the internet. The first time I met my Ingress team, like Pokemon Go, but competitive capture the flag, I was in a graveyard farming gear, and I got a message in-app saying, "Get in the gray van," and, without thinking, I hopped in this gray van that came up behind me. Everyone needs a college degree. Trade school is absolutely the way to go for some people, myself included. And I did both. My son says he wants to drive a dump truck for construction work. He may only be 5, but you'd better believe I'm encouraging him to pursue that. Don't forget to print out your directions from MapQuest before you leave. Though, it still makes sense to download maps before you set out. I've gotten into the habit of downloading 1 or 2 offline maps before going on a trip, especially if it's in a rural area. Google Maps only does so much if I'm stuck somewhere with bad service. Sometimes I even still keep an atlas or foldable map of the area. To look after your phone battery, you should let it go all the way down to 0% and then charge fully to 100%. This is a good one. My 23-year-old nephew thought this was the way to go even now, because his mum had told him. Was visibly surprised when I told him modern batteries were better served by not letting them drop below 15%. So many questions that I'm not qualified to answer, but so many knowledgeable Redditors have provided great info below. I'll try my best to summarize in response. Almost whatever you do, your battery will perform for about 2 years on a single charge a day. But if you want to get to 4 to 5 years plus on a single charge a day, maintaining 20 to 80% battery is the sweet spot. Overcharging is as damaging as letting the battery run flat. Nearly all new phones have a setting to protect overcharging. On my Galaxy Note 10, Android S12, it's called Protect Battery, and will cap charging at 85%. On Android, open Settings, the cog icon, and use search for Protect. Samsung specifically tells you this setting is to extend battery life. What your battery power display shows isn't necessarily the true state of power. However, the display is what you should work to, that's what manufacturers want you to observe. I don't know enough about the chemistry manufacturer to answer other detailed questions, but there are a considerable number of expert insights in the convos below. Is that really true? If so, why? And related, my Samsung phone has a setting where you can set it to never charge to AHBE above 85% to prolong battery life. Lithium-ion chemistries in use in electronics show less degradation when not charged and discharged to the extremes, 0% to 100%. Best to try and stick to the about 20% to 80% for battery longevity. I'm glad the Samsung phones have that setting, though I wish they would let us manually adjust the setting too. In high school, as part of one of my classes, they brought in a lady who worked HR for some recruiting firm for a few days to teach us how to do resumes and cover letters and such. She told us even if a place has an option to apply online, always go in person and pick up an application because no one takes online applications seriously. I was actually told this by a seasoned, experienced older employee around 2011 or so while working a temporary position and seeking to apply for a permanent one, which by the way included the possibility of a pension. I carefully filled out a thick application stack by hand and delivered it personally to HR. Turns out that due to some recently added rule, I was not eligible unless I went through the online application process, and no one told me until it was too late. It was probably better for my mental health in the long run to leave that job rather than feeling like I had to stay for the benefits, but the whole experience really soured me on trusting anyone's advice on anything ever. Always verify from the relevant source. I was told in high school that by the time I graduated there wouldn't be any computer jobs left, so I should study something else. I remember when my dad told me as a teenager to never be the one to pursue a guy, because I'm a woman. Maybe that was to keep me safe in my youth, but I've since come to realize that most of the dudes who are worth being with are either shy or oblivious, and I have no choice but to make the first move. I was both shy and oblivious. One night an acquaintance of mine asked me out. I had no clue she was interested in me, although it seemed obvious after the fact. I married her 2 weeks ago. You do a lot in 3 weeks. Efficiency is key. In middle school, I went to a dance with a girl, and she kissed me. I thought to myself, I wish I could kiss her again, but I don't know if she'll like that. You're searching for a soulmate on the internet? Lord, you must be insane. Met my wife on the internet about 12 years ago, and everyone thought I was making her up until we could afford to fly her out here. Then it was, she's probably scamming you. If she's a scam, best one I ever got caught up in. She's playing the long con. Yup. When OP is 83 years old. That's when she's gonna get ya. Spending whole day on the internet would never make you successful in life. Said my dad, you can't spend the whole day staring at your computer screen. Nobody is going to pay you to do that. 20 years ago my dad was making big bucks staring at a computer screen all day, but he got his start with COBOL in the 70s. Holy shit, next year will be 20 years since he retired from staring at a computer screen all day. Stay at the same company for long periods, they show no loyalty or keep up in pay rises. If you want pay increase and promotion, it is best to swap company every 1 to 3 years. I was recently offered a huge promotion. HR dicked me around on the salary and refused to negotiate. I told them if I was coming in from the outside, they wouldn't hesitate to give me what I asked, and then I rejected the offer. Everyone was flabbergasted. My boss called the C-suite level member of our department to tell him what happened. The next morning I had a new offer for exactly what I asked. That's such a good example why a promotion has to be considered carefully before accepting. A lot of people hear the word promotion and think it's automatically a good thing, but you have to weigh the extra responsibilities against what they're giving you in return. You played that situation very well. I guess it was a risk, because they might not have come back with that better offer, but standing your ground worked well for you here. Additionally, make sure you're taking whatever that promotion is at face value. Anything they tell you about what the position will be is bullshit until it actually becomes that. I made this mistake 4 months ago and am desperately trying to find a new job. I kept being told we were moving away from the methodology we were using, so X, Y, and Z about the position would be changing by the end of the year. This has turned out to be bullshit, and we are instead doubling down on it, so everything I knew I wasn't going to like about the position but was expecting to go away would now be permanent. You won't always have a calculator in your pocket. The irony is, even in the 80s, there were cheap calculator watches. See Marty McFly, BTTF. Teachers have always been wrong about that. I literally had one of those on and my teacher told me it wouldn't always be there. Did he think technology was going to get worse? Buy that house. Sure, it seems weird that you qualified for such a high home loan, but I'm sure they wouldn't offer it to you if you couldn't afford it. After getting this advice recently, the alarm bells went off for the rhetoric surrounding 2007. If I need to be $1 million in debt to own a home, I'm gonna figure out how to move to the middle of nowhere. It's not ducking worth it. That a good education would guarantee high-paying jobs. That a good education would jobs. Yep. I was told my whole life that literally any college degree would guarantee a good job. I graduated in 2008, by the way. I graduated in 2009. Moved back in with my parents, went to dozens upon dozens of job interviews with virtually any industry you can think of. Never got an offer, even for stuff like being a cashier. I got really bitter and depressed to the point where nobody wanted to be around me because I was so negative. Ended up enlisting in the military. I don't enjoy it, but I'm so scared of leaving because I know I'd go back to that life again, and at this point I'd be an idiot to leave because I need that retirement money. You can rest when you are dead. In my opinion, the grind culture is harmful and leads to a lot of physical and mental illness. Stress-induced illnesses have never been as bad as it is right now. Burnouts have never been as high as they are now. Mental health is plummeting. I understand that in some countries you have no choice but to grind to survive, but in developed countries I do not think society should encourage that mentality. Stress is a disease and this society is sick. I'm not from the US, and it's crazy to me how expensive the basic securities are over there. Housing, healthcare, education, commuting, all priced at premium and beyond. No wonder the people there have work as their main hobby. My dad told me once, "Son, you shouldn't schedule a single vacation day the first year of your job. It shows you're committed." I straight up told them I had a holiday booked 6 months down the line and if that's cool. They were like, "Sure, tell me a month beforehand." Worked pretty well. Alrighty, time for the lightning round. Here we go. Buy Yahoo stock. This was real advice when I was in college. What degree you get doesn't matter. Employers just want to know that you can stick with it for 4 years. Go to college or you'll end up broke. If she says no, just be persistent. You'll wear her down eventually. Never meet someone from the internet. Walk in and give them an application. If your TV isn't working, try hitting it. You'll never run out of space with a 10 GB HD. Take your money and put it in a high-interest savings account. Sure thing. Should I be getting 0.5% interest or 0.8% interest on that? With that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching all the way until the end, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment any outdated advice. Until next time.